Hi. So, I'm happy to be here. I'm happy you're here too. How was October? How was November treating you? I can't believe we're already like in the middle of November. What the hell? October was a wild ride for me personally. We had those two eclipses. Man, you know, good stuff, but like overwhelming stuff too. So, just trying to take it one day at a time. So, anyway, I hope you're doing well. Tell me everything. Tell me how it's going for you. This time around, I don't think I've ever used this deck on this channel. It was one of the, not first, not it. I got it sooner than I probably should have because that's how I roll. And it's really cool. So it's double-sided. It has, kind of the front-facing view and the back-facing view, which I don't, it's just kind of cool. So this is the vice versa tarot, and this is the woman in total control of herself. And obviously, if you are not a woman, it's still going to apply to you, but it just so happens that, obviously this deck, that's the name of it. But I've had this for a couple months too, and it kept kind of calling my name. So I've responded in true manifesting generator form. So without making this intro too long, we'll get into it. Great. So this is the reading for the 5-1 Heretic investigator profile. Shouts out to my fellow 5-1 gang. So part of the reason why I do an intro video is because I cannot be trusted to say or repeat the same thing 12 times. And anyway, so I usually have a blurb or something to share about the profiles that I found on the internet. And this time I thought it would be cool to ask you to share something that you think is cool or interesting about the 5-1 profile that you've learned throughout however long you've been looking into human design, or even if you haven't, if this is your first time, welcome. Because for me personally, like my favorite way of learning is through other people. And I'm not one of those type of people, like I can pick up a book and read it and then just, go build an engine or something. Like I do better by hearing other people's understanding of something they learned. So, I think it helps other people too. There's a lot of nuance in human design. And I think we understand and can develop nuance by hearing multiple perspectives of the same subject. So again, if you feel comfortable, I would love to hear about your journey so far. Again, it doesn't even necessarily have to be specifically about your profile. It can be something about your design, your incarnation cross, your strategy authority, whatever. And I don't know. I think that's it. So let's get you an oracle card. Of course, if you don't know what your profile is, there's a link in the description below for you to get your body graph. There's a ton of great information to be discovered on there. These readings just go based off of profile. This is Disciple of Ritual. Interesting. Love that. We'll read more about that once we get the tarot out. So of course, since there's images on both sides of these cards, we're just going to take the image that is facing us when they come out, which I don't know. I mean, that might be obvious, but I just wanted to say it out loud. I'm not going to flip the cards over or anything. Okay, we have the Tower card. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 5. We have the Two of Wands, the Six of Cups, the Nine of Wands, the Moon, and the Eight of Cups. And the Magician. I think that was the bottom of the deck. Let me make sure everything is in frame. Okay, I don't want to go to YouTube jail by having, women out here. So I just put stickies over pasties, if you will. So let's read about Disciple of Ritual. It says, you are connected to all things. Remembering this is part of your empowerment. Forgetting it is part of your forgetting it is part of your diminishment. When we honor our earth as mother, our sky as father, and praise the wind cousins, the water ancestors, the stone family, and the fire friends, we are taking our place in the great family. The animistic way of being in the world is remembering that spirit lives in all things, not just humans. This is a time to remember ritual as an act of inclusion. Ritual is your way of acknowledging your part in the great family. Accept its blessings and be grateful for the ways life conspires to bless you. Sorry. This is kind of long. The sun creates enough energy in one day to run all the machines of the planet for more than 1,000 years. There's more oxygen available than you can ever breathe. The water on this planet was the same water available to dinosaurs, to Mary Magdalene, to Gandhi. The planet you were born to is genius in both generation and regeneration. We are sharing or squandering its riches and the potential of our own psyche in any given moment. A witch understands that when she praises the sunrise and sings to the moon, she is joining creation's ongoing conversation. She is unafraid to petition these forces for support and alliance, but starts first with the gratitude of all the blessings that she didn't have to earn. A place on the planet that is distinctly hers, with an abundance of natural resources she didn't have to create. Now is the time for ritual. Put your gratitude and prayers into song or dance, or the quiet intensity of a candle flame. It doesn't matter how you create a sacred moment for ritual, just that you do it. Now is the time. That was definitely a long one. Very interesting. I feel like we might talk about the bottom of the deck too, because I feel like I didn't flip this over. And I don't know if somebody's telling me that. So, well, let's get into it. So we start with the Tower and the Nine of Wands, which is crazy because the Tower talks about our foundations, our structures, and stability even crumbling. The Tower, it's Mars, so it could be associated to Aries or Scorpio. I believe Mars is in Scorpio right now, which is kind of crazy. And depending on where Scorpio is for you, maybe you're seeing the effects of that. And this side of the Tower card, it's like that mask is cracking. It has cracked, right? And it's that mask that we have been wearing for however long, which is so interesting because, part of the 5-1 profile is that other people have a hard time seeing us. And I know for me personally, over my years, I tried wearing many different masks because I wanted people to see me. So I thought by putting on these masks, right, these proverbial masks, that people would actually see me, you know? It never happened. It never worked, right? So then it's like, shit, now I have this mask that I created with this intention, but that's not even, like who I am, right? But I did it because I wanted this result. So anyway, I'm just saying that, there is this clear crack happening with this mask, and this tower, part of this tower has already fallen as compared to this side where these people are just jumping out of the building. It's still in, looks like, one piece, right? But on this side, this would be something that, again, has already happened. You have already felt it. So now it's kind of like the aftermath, or you're in the thick of it, right? And especially with this 9 of Wands, because the 9 of Wands is the wounded warrior card. Wands having to do with action. It's the motivation behind the actions that we take. Motivation is Mars. It's creativity, passion. How are we communicating those things? I also see Wands as being information, because that's what we get by trying things, right? We discover what works, what doesn't work, what do we like, what don't we like, what stays, what goes. Look at this gnat. Just photobombing. And on this side, we could see how beat up this guy is. It's interesting. He has a sun and a moon symbol on his armor there. But the message with the 9 of Wands is that, for one, 9s are individual completion. So, like, you might feel beat up, obviously, with this Tower card, right? But it's also like, take the rest that you need, but the work isn't done yet, type of thing. And it's interesting that in this card, there's this other figure here. This could be you, this could be somebody else, this could be you, or this could be somebody else, right? But it's also, it feels like I was saying, right? If we have been trying to do things with the intention of getting a result or some sort of validation from other people, then for one, that's, kind of crashing down. And also, two, it's like, what is the reward? Like, what are you getting from that you couldn't get from yourself? And it feels like this release, because like I said, it is a 9. It is individual completion. So it's you making this decision to not take actions based on validation or acceptance or receiving something from somebody else, is how I'm feeling with this combination. Because I think it's wild that this side of the Tower card came out with this side of the 9 of Wands. And then, because of this happening, there's energy available to decide what you want to do next. We have the 2 of Wands, and the 2 of Wands is about planning for the future, right? So, we're looking at this figure. This figure is looking out. They're holding this orb here too, hanging on to the Ace of Wands over here. The other wand is right there. But like I said, there's this feeling of planning for the future. What's next, right? Like on this side, we can see them, it's looking more towards the horizon. This feels more like moving for some reason. I don't know why, but this one doesn't really feel like moving. This feels like it's kind of like staying where you are, but switching motivation, switching your actions. And I keep kind of getting this feeling of like the sky's the limit, which is interesting because we have the moon card down here. There's this eclipse happening. We just had in October, we had 2 eclipses, so there could have been something that came out of those. The moon is associated to Cancer or Pisces. There's these 2 towers here that literally look exactly like this one without the mask on. Because I don't know if you can see that, but it's like the middle section has been taken out, just the same as this tower, which is actually kind of interesting. Like, what are the odds of these 2 cards coming out like this? I don't know. Because on this side, right, like we can't see that the back of it has been blown out or disintegrated or fell or whatever, right? So this feels like, the moon talks about, for one, our emotions. She's, in this water. How are we feeling about things? And maybe we don't know. Maybe we don't know what we want to do yet, right? Because the 2 of Wands, again, right, it's that planning, it's considering, it's, like, okay, so what are the options available to me, right? So it's not even necessarily that you're taking action towards anything yet, you're just planning stages. And with this moon card, the moon also talks about the subconscious. It talks about secrets, like in the sense of you don't have all of the information yet. Even, they're holding this, I don't even know what that is, a stone, but it's like illuminated. And then they have this bowl of green liquid over there. It's almost kind of like this temptation thing, or like picking an option, which is interesting. I mean, those 2 things could go together in some capacity. It doesn't have to be this or that, right? Maybe it is, because with the 2 of Wands, I mean, maybe it is deciding which option fits you better. No mask to be seen, though, here anymore. We have the 6 of Cups, which is the card of the past. Interesting how these 2 on opposite sides have 2 people in them, right? Like, yet the vibe is different, which is interesting. But the 6 of Cups is the card of the past. It's nostalgia, it's inner child. It's also even like acts of kindness. Cups having to do with our emotions, how we feel about things, how those feelings are living in our body. I always kind of like with this card, I always kind of get this feeling of like, ma'am, get out of the canal. Like, what are you doing? Or just this almost like chance encounter, or maybe even reconnecting with somebody from your past. Because on this side, there's only one person here. Here's the 6 cups. It's nighttime, clearly, right? But this is a side that we were shown. So if it's relationship based, there could be this new perception about relationships for you. Mask came off. That mask could have been what you, like that kind of fairy tale, kind of thing about what relationships, and that could be business, it could be romantic, platonic, whatever, type of relationship. But it's like at one point they were kicking your ass, or just kind of felt like you were like thrown to the wolves anytime that you were involved in any type of relationship. And it's like something in here changed. And that would have been because, like, of this tower moment happening. And so there could be a reconnection, which I'm not usually ever really a fan of that, unless that reconnection is there to, of course, actually help you move on. Because we go from the Six of Cups to the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about knowing when it is time to move on. It's recognizing that there's something better, because we're moving on from the Eight of Cups to the Nine of Cups, right? Which is wish fulfillment. Here's that shooting star, which, they usually tell us to make wishes on, right? There's this child looking person, which is interesting because we have the inner child card here. So we have this child looking figure looking at these 8 cups, and some of these cups are pretty beat up, which is also interesting, seeing as one of the first cards was the 9 of Wands, and they are also beat up. Cups having to do, again, with our emotions, right? So it's almost like sifting through those feelings that maybe don't feel that great, and also recognizing that there's not really anything left in there to be gained. This side, though, this person is moving on. They're actively walking away. Whereas on this side, maybe whatever the Six of Cups is, whether it is just kind of, reliving a memory or just kind of digging into your inner child, maybe it is some sort of run-in with somebody from your past. It is allowing you to release or even heal something with your inner child, which also kind of sets you free, because we have the Eight of Swords at the bottom of the deck. And the Eight of Swords generally, this is kind of how it's usually depicted, is this feeling of being bound and blindfolded, like I don't have a choice, like swords are about our mindset, ideas. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the stories that we attach to experiences, to feelings. And it makes us do certain things. It makes us not do other things, right? So there's a lot of information to be found in the Eight of Swords, because it's this feeling of like, what are the things that are making me feel stuck? But this is a side that we're shown, right? So this side is saying that whatever is happening throughout this reading for you, right? Like, it is helping to set you free, because the Ace of Swords is there. First of all, they're not even bound that tight. They could probably just wiggle themselves out really fast. But it's also making that decision to do so. We have this big ass eagle flying in, which, I don't know the symbolism of an eagle. If you want to look it up, like the totem meaning for an eagle, great. But also, there's this sense of freedom. It's this sense of like a bird's eye view, seeing the bigger picture. But specifically, this person it's like you're ready to come out of like whatever brain fog you've been in. And it's literally a decision away. Then we have the Star card, which is a card of Aquarius. But this is trust, it's faith, it's trusting the process. I see the Star card as being that literal space between the 5D where we manifest and the 3D where we're trying to bring that manifestation into actualization or into physical form. Because, it's she's pouring water into water, which is our emotions, and also onto the earth, which is our physical body, where we are physically present. There's this crane or this stork, again with the bird aspect. There's this healing thing going on with the Star card also. So again, even with it coming after the Eight of Swords, there is this opportunity here for you to release something that you have been carrying around, this mask that you have been carrying around for a long time. We have the Temperance card. This is a contraption that the Hanged Man is hanging from in this deck. And there's another bird. This is a card of Sagittarius. So, this is about alchemy, and it's almost too like part of the process, right? Because the Temperance card talks about things coming together, like having to go through certain steps, experiences, whatever, in order for energies to blend, in order for opportunities to show up here. So, it feels like this divine guiding thing. We have the Wheel of Fortune behind the Temperance card, which is Jupiter, which is also Sagittarius. Big Sagittarius vibes all of a sudden. But this is, things changing. Luck, expansion. And look, all of this is behind the Eight of Swords. Like, you make that decision, right? The Sword of Truth there, the Ace of Swords is there. And all of this happens. We have the Strength card behind it. There's the Lion from the Temperance card. Inner strength, perseverance. The 10 of Wands, 6 of Wands, which is interesting. We had the 9 of Wands on the table. The 10 of Wands is a completion. And the 6 of Wands is victory. I mean, these guys all look beat up too, but there is still a victory and success aspect to it. And we never even really went back to this like ritual card, but it could even be like a lot of this is going to be transmuted through ritual. Maybe it's even, again, it could be the full moon or new moons. It could be something that was a result of the eclipses that happened in October. It could be, because if you have any type of ritual around those occurrences, like full moons or when you release, new moons or when you set new intentions. So, it could be rituals around that. It could be even, like joining a circle of some aspect or getting some sort of energetic healing, something even along those lines. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.